I'm back and I'm talking about Spider-Man today. Hey, what's going on my street YouTube people? I know it's been a while, probably about a month. I was ill, had a bit of a cold, so like recording pointless, and then another point I was just like, I'm tired right now. I've been trying to do videos weekly and all that jazz, but enough about that. We've got a video to talk about today. We're going to talk about Spider-Man. So I really want to jump into all of this Spider-Verse jazz that people were talking about a very long time ago, when we know that Sony and Disney were all back in bed together, having a good old time. So with the announcement that, you're gonna have Tom Holland back in the MCU, at least for like 2 movies, one solo and one that's in the MCU with the Avengers or whatever is gonna be on at that time. So we don't know the name of that Spider-Man movie or anything like that, but with me being a nerd, and well, people who watch this probably are nerds, let's talk about some things that could possibly be. First things first,
something realist.
Let's talk about the Spider-Verse, because lo and behold, we also have an announcement for the Spider-Verse sequel, whatever it's going to be called, Into the Spider-Verse 2, or Spider-Geddon, or Spider Island, or whatever spider-orientated thing that it's going to be called. Let's go with that. We've got Spider-Verse. What are the characters that, I guess you could say, MCU's Peter Parker could interact with? Now, the most obvious choice that we're gonna have is obviously Miles, because it's Into the Spider-Verse. It has to be him. He was the star of his own movie, and that movie was amazing. Check out my review if you haven't seen it yet. I know it's old, but look at it. It'd be great to have a live action version of this character, or even have Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker that is, go into that world, at least for a little bit of a cutscene and some sort of kind of Easter egg kind of thing. But if we are bringing a live action version of this character, Miles Morales, to the big screen, I would love Caleb McLaughlin, I think his name is, little black kid that's in Stranger Things. Now, from what I understand, Caleb is not of any sort of Hispanic descent, that's the one. But I don't know many actors that are black and Hispanic that are young enough to play the character of Miles Morales on live action, so he's a great step in for me. Now, if we are looking at live action characters to bring in the Spider-Verse, an established Spider-Verse that you could already have would be Sony's original Spider-Verse with Sam Raimi trilogy, and you could have the Andrew Garfield 2 duo movie. Both of them are great with their own rights. Some of them not as good as the other one, Spider-Man 3, but overall, Andrew Garfield was great and Tobey Maguire was great. I liked what both of them brought to the table for each of their Spider-Mans and Peter Parkers. And also, I mean, you could say Spider-Man, well, Kevin Feige said that Spider-Man is the only character that can cross cinematic worlds. He is wrong, because we have Deadpool. And speaking of Deadpool, Tom Holland must interact with Ryan Reynolds. They have a great relationship outside of these movies and stuff like that, just like as normal human beings living in the world. Now, in the movie, you would have Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. He needs to be put into the MCU, because you cannot have the MCU characters in Deadpool's universe. It's gonna be rated 18 or 15 if you're living outside of America, for whatever reason that is. But having that would be amazing. You could definitely use him, Deadpool, that is, in the same way that the Disney series used Deadpool in Spider-Man DX, or it was on Disney DX. Either way, it was great because he was still funny, still a humorous character, knew that he was on a TV show, and he censored himself. And having Deadpool in that environment would be great cinematically. With Ryan Reynolds' comedic timing and Tom Holland as the straight man, it is great. I mean, you could have a scene where you've got Ryan Reynolds saying, "What the?" And then Peter Parker just cuts him off with saying a nonchalant word that starts with, like, he could be talking about a ship or some melon farmers, if you get what I mean. Basically, just get Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in the MCU, get him in the House of Mouse, and have a whale of a time with him. Next, we have Wolverine as a character that should definitely interact with Tom Holland's Peter Parker, or Spider-Man. They actually have a great relationship in the comics, and they are known to really have a strong thing for redheads. Wolverine, Logan going after Jean Grey, to no avail really in the X-Men in the X-Men movies. It sort of worked, but not so much. And then you've got Peter Parker. Well, sort of. The MCU Peter Parker for Tom Holland hasn't gone after any redheads just yet. MJ, Michelle Jones sort of has a red tinge to her hair, but traditionally you've got Mary Jane, and that's kind of like the biggest one that people would really go for when it goes to having that kind of love interaction, and obviously Gwen Stacy. But Peter Parker, Spider-Man, depending on which angle you're looking at, he gets around. But that's not the point of this video. We're talking about characters that Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man can interact with, and Wolverine is a great choice. They have got that great, the old man that knows the world and he's gruff and everything like that. And you've got the young, exuberant superhero that just wants to go and help and save the world, and he's always wisecracking, whereas Wolverine just isn't about that life. Then we've got Fantastic Four. I mean, they are a great thing to do because we know that there's a Fantastic Four movie in the pipeline. So it's definitely going to be, it's a question of who's going to be the actors, when is it coming out, not if it's coming out. There are two great things about this for me. One is Johnny Storm. He is a quip machine in the same way that Spider-Man is a quip machine, so they'd be quipping off of each other all the time. I never thought I'd be saying the word quip so much in one sentence, and there it is again. Also, you've got Ben Grimm, the Thing. And it's great because he is Uncle Ben, but not Uncle Ben in the same way that Peter Parker's Uncle Ben is, who has obviously died, and great power and responsibility and all that jazz. You guys know what I'm talking about. But Benjamin Grimm, and then he's an Uncle Ben because of Franklin Richards. He's actually an Omega level mutant who can just basically create his own universe and do whatever he wants, really. But there's a great interaction there between Peter Parker and Franklin Richards, and it's just wonderful to have. It's in the comics, and doing something like that in the MCU where he's kind of passing on that kind of vibe of protector to someone else, the same way that Tony Stark did for him and the other Avengers in the world, really, when it came down to it. That's what Tony Stark was. But having that with Franklin Richards and overall the Fantastic Four interaction would be great. And finally, Miles Morales. I know I said this already, but I just really want this. I can't express how much I really want Miles Morales to be in the MCU, or Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, be in the Spider-Verse movies, whether it's the sequel or something like just a nice Easter egg that really shows that this world is connected, because apparently there's a Spider-Verse of, well, a Sony Spider-Verse, but yeah. I just want it. That's all I need. However, on a side note, Sony could try and develop the Clone Saga series, which I've read bits and pieces of, and it's not as bad as people make out, but it's definitely not a great series for Spider-Man. The good thing is though, well, you get Ben Reilly, and Ben Reilly is awesome. So if they do try and do that, hopefully they get actors that are good enough. And if they are going to try and do that, maybe you could have Tom Holland putting off like an Eddie Murphy, or in the latest one that's done, I think it's Marlon Wayans, just being all these characters and doing a great acting job and being slightly different versions of Peter Parker, with being Ben Reilly and the Jackal. And it's just, it could be awesome in terms of acting, but we'll see. So what do you guys think? Who should Peter Parker interact with in the MCU? Should it be Miles Morales? Should it be Wolverine, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, all the characters I've named? Who else could he interact with where it would be amazing and sensational to interact with our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Before I end the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell because you know it's very important. That's how you, you see my videos. That's how it works. Share it with your friends, and most importantly, share it with your enemies because you know you want them to suffer. There's gonna be videos in this area here, subscription here. I still don't have a sign off yet, so peace.